The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Hey, welcome to the show. Hey, new intro. That was kind of cool, wasn't it?
I like that.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle.
Testimony.
I'm
Thanks,
Nico De
Mike.
Haan, Paige Clarke, and we're living a primal lifestyle here. Our number, folks, is 877-927-6648. If you'd like to give us a call, join the conversation. Let us know what you think. You
Ask
can
us
always
your questions.
Yeah, exactly.
We like that.
And we can be reached also at nico@tfnn.com and paige@tfnn.com if you have any comments that way or suggestions for the show or just answering some of your questions. We always like to do that for sure. And a reminder that our Health Signals newsletter is out, so please pick that up. It's only $5 an issue, $10 a month, and the first 30 days, free trial, no charge. And, of course, you can
Lots
cancel.
of good stuff and great links.
You can cancel anytime. Definitely about that.
Hey, you know what?
What?
Your boo-boo's all healed on your head.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's pretty fast. Isn't that cool?
Well, that's because you eat healthy fats.
I think that's
and
what it
it's
is.
healthy saturated fats
And,
actually help you build new cells.
And I have a great dermatologist that knows how to stitch me up without leaving too many scars.
Nice little handiwork there.
Yeah.
Can't even tell.
I got the stitches out on Tuesday. Wednesday I started sparring, or Tuesday I started sparring actually, and then Thursday I sparred, and the steroid strips fell off. So
Very nice. Hey,
yeah.
Tell us a little bit
redness.
about your talk that you did this week.
Yes, this is really interesting, folks, because I give talks now and then to people about living a primal lifestyle, and how things change. And this talk was really titled "Do You Remember When Your Food Changed?" And I'm also giving a talk next week at Nature's Food Patch.
Very good.
So I was invited to speak at a school, and these are high school students. It was a small academy in Clearwater. It's called the Washburn Academy, and about 35 students, a couple of teachers, and it was just totally amazing. And it really did blow my mind because, first of all, I was going to speak 40 minutes with some maybe 15 or 20 minutes of answering questions. Ended up speaking over an hour and a half.
They have so many questions. People are
Not
hungry
only
to
that,
get the
they
right
were
information.
listening.
Yeah, they were
And they
sitting there.
got it. And then if they didn't understand a word, they put up their hand. And very intelligent questions, very enthusiastic. Gave me a standing ovation when it was over. I mean, I felt so
Nice.
good. I went home and I talked to Ellen and I says, this really is inspiring because these people are interested. And they actually had better questions than some of the talks when were doing adults.
Well, I think this is really a better target. I mean, let's get
we gotta
to people
start
that
young.
start young.
Yeah.
And we have a serious issue with people not being informed about what foods are good for your body. And if
Yeah.
we can get these kids early, they're still able to make that shift.
Yeah. So it was great. And, of course, I'm speaking at Nature's Food Patch, which is our local health food restaurant here. And this is the third time I'm speaking there. They invited
What's
me
the
back.
date? March 14th?
March 14th at 6:30. If you're local and want to come down and see me, it'd be wonderful. And it's about an hour. Maybe it'll go like the kids, an hour and a
I'm
half.
speaking this weekend, too.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
Speaking,
At
I'm
a women's
speaking
group,
to,
right?
yes, a phenomenal women's group at a private home in
That
the
is so
area.
cool.
About 30 women. And I'm going to be talking about how to bring health and harmony into your life.
That is-
So I'm real excited about that.
Yeah.
This is what we got to do. Reach out and
Yeah. So my
Have
seminar
these
is at Nature's Food Patch. It's on Cleveland Avenue in downtown Clearwater, and it's the 14th, Thursday at 6:30, and it's about an hour. No charge, which is nice, and of course they have pretty good food there. And also you can grab a coffee, and I don't know if they have the bulletproof coffee like I have sitting right here, and Paige and I are both drinking the Tiger Brew this morning. So, one of our chat room people wanted to know, what about this horse meat scandal? Horse meat scandal.
it's just one of many, isn't it? We're finding out that what we think we're eating and what we think we're buying
Is not
what it
the
really
product.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you're talking about hamburgers, and this is really processed meat that they were talking about, they were really, it's not labeled naturally. When you go and get the hamburger just from the butcher, or It's not labeled, so you don't have that advantage. But, you know, what does happen is, you know, they substitute things in there. I personally think that horse meat, if the horse is running on the range and eating its own meat, it's probably not bad meat. However, probably what they're doing, they're putting the cheapest stuff in there to fill it. Otherwise, they wouldn't even consider.
Maybe sick horses, you know, retire. I mean, I mean, this kind of brings us back to where we've been going, where we're seeking out, knowing our farmers, knowing the farms where we're getting our food. I support a lot of co-ops and get the meat and so forth that way. So,
well, the thing is, we do want to know what's in the food we eat. So I think that's the first thing. We want to know what's in there, and if somebody tells you this is beef, you want it to be beef. And, you know. So again, if you go local, if you don't buy from these big, huge companies, then you've got a much better chance on knowing what you have.
And we vote with our wallets.
Yeah,
you know where we spend our money. You know, there's some fine grocery store chains. We have Publix in our area, and I'm not saying anything about Publix. I think it's overall it's a good company.
It's one of the better
one of the better
stores.
ones. But I still choose to support. You know, like for example, we have Nature's Food Patch in our area, and when you walk in, you find out that they promise not to irradiate their foods. That's just a whole conversation. I think we've touched on it.
Yeah.
You know, you can spend all your money on organic, but if the food stores, like Whole Foods does in some cases, if they irradiate the organic food, why are you spending the money? You've collapsed the biofield, the energy signature of the food, and so these are things we have to watch for.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things in the health food store that I wouldn't buy either.
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes in a can, the only thing I think I would buy in a can might be some like wild-caught salmon or sardines. Yes. Sardines are great.
Because they actually do have the wild-caught salmon.
Yeah, so if you're preparing for a hurricane and you want to store some food for those kind of things, those are the kind of things that you can get. And
cans,
protein,
boxes, and bags. Just we try and stay away from that.
Yeah.
That kind of brings us in. Maybe we can chat a little bit about this
raw
rant.
Yeah.
You know, because this is kind of where we're going, is that we don't want to argue about healthy foods. Some may be more preferable to you than others. We want to really emphasize that we want to stay away from the unconscious packaged, boxed, bagged, canned, processed, irradiated, you know, toxic foods. That's what we really want to do.
This article, what it's talking about is, you know, the raw rant means that people are really on the bandwagon. You got to eat everything raw, and this is so healthy for you. And
I have a lot of people that come into my office, and then their jaws drop when I say, I like grass-fed beef, I like raw milk, and you know.
And I like to cook my food too.
Yeah, and I like my food cooked. Yeah. I like my food raw.
Cooking solves some problems too. I mean, if you have some meat that's tainted a little bit and you cook it real well, it's going to be okay to eat. You're not going to have.
The other thing is a lot of times people don't understand that with our vegetables, we're not capable of breaking them down.
Right.
And the animals concentrate the nutrition in the vegetables, and the cooking, you know, breaks down the cellulose fiber so that a lot of the nutrients. It's like we learned, for example, lycopene, which is a very powerful antioxidant found in tomatoes, is much more powerful in cooked tomatoes than a raw tomato.
Yeah.
And
that's why your spaghetti sauce is...
Exactly. The pasta in the Mediterranean, spaghetti sauce, you know, fabulous for prostate health.
Yep.
And another one is indole, which is, you know, the really powerful compound in cruciferous vegetables, you know, for cancer protection, for reducing...
And it's better in cooked vegetables.
It's correct. It's better in the cooked vegetables, and it reduces estrogen dominance, which I believe is the biggest tragedy.
I think it kind of binds to the fiber in those vegetables. Is that the way it works?
It does, but it helps to remove the excess estrogens and the bad estrogens.
Okay.
Helps to make sure we get rid of the bad estrogens, and as opposed to when we eat raw broccoli and cauliflower, and even though we like it, and occasionally that's the case, those are thyroid inhibitors. The raw cruciferous vegetables can actually slow down the thyroid, and that's another big thing that so I like the idea of binding the estrogens, helping to remove the excess estrogens.
Makes sense. And also studies have been shown that people who cook their food are better able to digest the raw food. So if you're eating raw all the time, you have more problems than if you're eating cooked food and then mix it in with some raw food, too.
Well, that's the balance. In traditional Chinese medicine, the yin and yang. Some foods are more yin, some are more yang.
Yes.
And we need a balance of that.
Yeah. And the yin is much more expansive, where the yang is much more inward type of thing.
Cool
yang
and hot.
is, cool and hot, salty, and I guess you would say it would be the pH difference would be...
Well,
acid and non-acid. So
traditional cultures have known that it's important to balance these foods, and that's really what we have to do. So my argument, or my point, is let's not argue about whether or not you're, or come about people in a condescending way about whether or not you're eating animal foods or you're not. We happen to be of a position that we think that living more primally, eating animal foods.
Yeah, going back to our first diet.
First diet is the healthiest. I know that I feel the healthiest since I've eaten this way.
Yeah.
And
well, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it in just about every facet of my life. The energy, the sleeping better, my skin rejuvenation. When I get a cut, it heals very fast. So all those things do make a huge difference. Well,
so many people are comparing raw vegan lifestyle to people that eat cooked foods, but they're not comparing them to eating the foods that we eat, a healthy traditional primal diet. They're comparing it to...
It's like the China study thing.
Yeah, they're comparing it to people who are eating processed, store-bought, unhealthy CAFO-type meat and processed packaged food. So let's make sure we're
It's like
looking at the right
Ansel
things.
Keys, when he was doing his study on fats, he was mixing in the trans fats, the new oils that they were using, the seed oils, they call them vegetable oils. The seed oils were mixed in with the good oils, and then you don't get a good consensus of what really is going on.
And they built the whole argument against saturated fats based on that flawed science.
And remember, the people who back a lot of these studies, too, have their own agenda. So when an answer comes one way, they might skew it another way. They might say, hey, this is really good, when it may not be that way. So
again, kind of recap on that, let's try and make room at our tables to eat raw and cooked, healthy, nutritious, nutrient-dense foods from conscious sources, fed healthy food, and not argue, and let's stay away from the packaged, boxed
that makes the whole sense to me. Again, Weston Price has many articles on this type.
WestonAPrice.org.
Yeah. So
Great place to
listen
learn
to him
some good stuff.
And listen to the people on that site, and you'll get a lot of answers. In fact, I remember on Facebook the other day I posted an article about healthy snacks. And the lady on the video was talking about, when I take the raw nuts home and then I soak them for 7 or 8 hours or overnight, and then I put salt on them, and it's a good snack. And same even with popcorn. If you're using it in a microwave, that type of popcorn is completely different than if you buy some, healthy popcorn, and then just popcorn by itself is not the greatest meal. It's not going to hurt you if you have some organic popcorn once in a while.
Yeah, saute it in your coconut oil.
Yeah, there you go.
Coconut oil and popcorn and coconut
oil. And then you
oil.
can use some great sauce.
Yeah.
I mean,
no
some
microwave,
great salt.
though.
No microwave.
Yeah, no microwave
I don't
ever.
ever use that at all.
Use it to store stuff.
Yeah.
Or use it to, take your little scrubby.
Yeah.
If you still have one, if you don't remove it.
That's right.
And put your scrubby in there and desanitize it.
Exactly. And a reminder to pick up my Health Signals newsletter, because all this kind of material and all the research that you want to do to find out this information is going to be in there. So please pick that up. $10 a month, and you get the information you need. 877-927-6648 is our number, and we will be back after the break. Nico and Paige right here.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foresight Fund Services, LLC. McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. And on the line we have Kay Rico from Costa Rica. So we'll go to him first. How you doing, Kay Rico?
Hi, good afternoon. If I should lose you guys, it's an internet connection. So do I sound all right?
Hey, sound good.
Yeah, sound great.
Okay, thank you. So I guess I've had a couple of weeks of a very intense lifestyle, not to my choosing, but it's just the way life goes.
Sure.
And at the same time, when I have a chance to just chill, I always go back to something that I experienced 40 years ago living in Mexico, and it has to do with the ocean. And maybe this goes with the point that Tom has put together a programming of your health and your wealth. And for me, I've always said and practiced the fact that, and I write it down. I write it down every day. My health is my wealth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that my health changed vitally when I moved to Mexico 40 years ago. And when I wasn't working, doing my thing, I was in the ocean. And I was in the ocean as many hours a day as I could because I was using it as therapy for my total well-being.
Well, you're getting a couple of great things from the ocean. First of all, not only do you have the great ocean, which is a salinity factor the same as our blood. It has great rejuvenating powers, but then you're in the sunshine also.
Yeah, that vitamin D, as they say.
Yeah.
And you're standing on the sand,
which are
connecting
grounded
to the magnetic core, getting that piezoelectric
Yeah.
current going. So
Yeah. And I used to witness older people that were in their 60s and 70s coming to the rocks and just dipping their feet into the ocean or getting, up to their knees. And and I would chat with them, and they'd always use the phrase, "Es bueno para our salud."
Yeah.
And salud
Good
is
for our
health.
health. Yeah, salute is health. That's right. Right.
So in the interim, this past 2 weeks of living a dangerous lifestyle, and the fact that what I think about is to change my thoughts about what's going on in my life, I try to think about what's going on in the world. And when I come to it, it's almost like before there was land, there was nothing but a mass of 100% water on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And due to the fact that volcanoes erupted underground, these earthquake volcanoes created step by step the land.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the facets that I've been intrigued about for maybe 4 or 5 years, and I've been studying with a very wise older man who's taught me about earthquakes and how to understand and how to pinpoint them and how to almost forecast them.
Uh-huh.
He has educated me, and I've come to the conclusion that when we were once 100% water, ocean, the planet gathered its forces and created the land masses, but at the same time, now the base of all these underground land masses, or our volcanic base, is underground, which is the tectonic plates of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we're all connected because...
Well, one of the things, I do a lot of research on this too, and I've been looking on the NASA site, and they are really concluding that the sun, with its ejections and their holes in the sun, and when the planets line up and those activities are happening on the sun, that's when earthquakes happened. And right now we're in a period of activity because the planets are all bunched together around the sun, and there's a lot of activity on the sun having not only ejections, but these big holes are in the sun that really cause a lot of disruption. And they think there's a big correlation. In fact, they have been pretty good on predicting not where the earthquakes are, but that there is activity.
Okay, well,
I got a lot of this source from Suspicious Observers, which is a website on YouTube where you can go to and listen to his daily report about the sun and its activities, and also earthquakes and other types of information like that. It's kind of interesting.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Suspicious what?
Observers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
As far as observing, I want you to think about this, you guys.
Okay.
The fact is, we are warming the waters because what's happening is it's black and white. It's both black and white, as simple as I can put it. The polar caps are melting.
Yeah.
There's less white reflection taking place on the ocean and the areas of white caps.
Yeah. Well, I think this is all connected, K. Rico, and we're kind of running out of time here. But let's discuss this again sometime, because I'm really interested in this and what's happening with the weather, and I think I've got some interesting things to say about that too. So please give us a call back again.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk again, and we'll be right back after the break. We're going to talk about HCG.
Just recently, on December 28th, Market Insight subscribers were advised to go long the QQQ, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, on December 28th at $63.91, and only 2 trading days later, after a huge jump in the markets, Market Insight subscribers were advised to sell the QQQ at $66.64 for a $2.73 or 4.27% profit to start off 2013. At the same time, Tom O'Brien had advised his clients looking for a more leveraged trade that they could have initiated a position in the QLD, the ProShares Ultra QQQ ETF, and over the same 2 trading days, Market Insight subscribers were able to lock in a $4.48 profit or an 8.47% gain in just 1 trade. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during your free trial and pay nothing. Don't miss out on the next great trading opportunity in 2013. Act today.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to this program, folks, and it's 877-927-6648, and please pick up our newsletter, Health Signals, and you'll get everything you need to know about how to stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, so you can keep on trading. And right now, trading's going real strong. I mean, we got the market being up, so that's a good thing. And I want to thank Kay Rico for calling in, and sorry to cut you off at the end of the segment there, but
he always has really interesting stuff to share.
Yeah, and I want to discuss more of that. It's just we've got an agenda, and we really wanted to talk about HCG. And well, first of all, let me just blankly say I don't think any diet is really going on a diet to lose weight. I think normalizing your body is really where it's at.
Weight release is a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's really a lifestyle, and that's the way I like to think about my food. But this is in the news. I know Dr. Oz has been talking about it, and I know you know a lot about this, Paige.
I do know a lot about it.
Yeah.
So maybe for people that don't, did you want to just kind of go over?
Well, it's a hormone, a growth hormone from pregnant women, right?
It's a hormone that women secrete when they're pregnant.
Yeah, human chorionic
gonadotrophin. And HCG basically is a survival hormone that says to the mother's body, you're pregnant, grow, you're pregnant, and if there is a starvation or a famine, we are going to make sure that this growth, now
it's got you covered.
This fetus, or that this embryo or fetus, we're going to get the caloric needs to help this growth. So the diet was designed and researched by Dr. Simeon back in the 40s or 50s, I believe in Italy. He did it. The best way to understand it is to get the original manuscript by Dr. Simeon. the neat thing about the HCG diet is the fat loss is not structural. It's the excess fat. It's the unattractive fat. When you go on the HCG diet, and it's a very strict protocol that you follow, and I'll kind of highlight that in a minute, you lose the weight you want to lose. You lose it in the right places. And when I say structural fat, you don't get that, sagginess and your gaunt look in your face. You're going to lose the excess belly and your hips. And I have taken the HCG diet. And
this is why it's so attractive to people.
Exactly. Yeah. And but it has a very strict protocol. It requires a very low-calorie diet. Now, and a lot of the naysayers say, oh, that's too low of calories. But the situation is because this hormone has kicked on to protect the fetus or the growth, remember I'm saying that, in a case of famine, it tells your body, go to your fat stores and burn your fat for calories. So the belief is that you probably access close to 2,000 calories from your existing fat stores while you stay with a strict 500 calorie a day diet. There's a certain loading protocol you have to do so you don't have hunger. There's things that you do to make sure that you don't have overwhelming hunger the first couple of days, and then you do lose your appetite. You feel really good on the diet. And then it's very key while you're resetting the hypothalamus in the brain with this hormone that you then follow what they call a phase 2 or phase 3, where you're normalizing, and then you have to do certain things and avoid certain foods. The foods that you cannot eat on the diet are fats of any kind. A small portion of protein. It's basically a protein and one vegetable. You're trying to psych the brain into thinking that food is scarce, and therefore, so in other words, if you have, you don't really have, you have basically a coffee. You can have 1 teaspoon of milk. Okay. Then you can have lunch, and it might be a 2-ounce piece of chicken or grass-fed beef or something, and maybe some vegetables, a green bean or something. Yeah. And you have to alternate the vegetable. Then at dinner you have the same thing, and the weight comes off somewhere between a half to 1 pound a day, and you actually do look good. The key is following that. So if you do it a minimum of 3 weeks, you have to do it a minimum of 3 weeks. You can either get it as a pharmaceutical injectable, the HCG, the actual hormone, or there are
It's probably the best way to do it, but there's probably
the homeopath. Well, I'm a fan of homeopathy, and so there's homeopathic versions of it. Remember, a homeopathic version is the energetic signature that then reminds the body gives the instructions.
So is that done in a liquid kind? Or
drops or something like that. The problem you've got, and this is where a lot of the bad press is coming, is there's a lot of companies that are manufacturing homeopathics and they're not following good protocols.
Yeah, so if you're going to do this, you probably have to be under the doctor's care.
Doctor's care or a knowledgeable practitioner. But the key is you've got to be willing to understand. There's no alcohol. You've got to be willing to stick to it. So a minimum of 6 weeks. But and I'll share with all of you, I have done it twice, and I look great when I do it. I mean, the weight that I want to lose, and I keep it off for a little bit, and then unfortunately, what I found is that I put the weight back on.
Sure, because your lifestyle hasn't changed.
Well, I changed my lifestyle a little bit, but I think we've agreed since I've done the Primal thing, as I've been testing myself, that grains are my issue. Wheat belly. We've talked about the book. Cutting out the grains, which are not really part of this lifestyle. So now.
Well, let's talk about the downside of this diet.
Well, and I'll tell you why I am concerned. You heard me say that it convinces the brain that let's do everything we can do to encourage this growth, this fetus, this embryo. Well, there is a theory that's kind of supported by Dr. Nick Gonzalez, who is a big cancer doctor, that the trophoblastic, well, it's actually Dr. Kelly's work from back in the 30s, the trophoblastic theory of cancer, that a cancer is very much like an embryo. It develops its own blood supply and its own system to survive.
Yeah, an immune system really is outside of it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so not touching it. So the concern is, in some research that's coming out, is does HCG encourage cancer growth? And do know that there is you can Google it, an HCG cancer test. For example, Nico, if you went to the doctor and you're not taking HCG and you're not on any other hormones, and you had an elevated HCG, if you had HCG in your blood, you would probably be concerned that there was some cancer. And there are people that actually use this HCG urine test.
Well, if you got cancer, would you be taking this test to see if it's diminishing?
Yeah, I do believe there are some people that especially use that as a way that maybe are doing alternative. They measure their HCG levels. So that creates a concern for me and some other people.
Me too. I mean, why would you put this in your body? Because that's the indicator for elevated chance
it
of
sounds
getting
like
cancer.
HCG creates an environment that's for growth of something that needs to grow. Yeah. So whether it be an embryo.
If you don't have an embryo, what else is growing?
Yeah, and so what do we want to grow? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so some points that it does stimulate the hormones. Maybe that's why when women, men, we feel a little better because we've got a little elevation in our hormones because the hormones have to go up. So I hope you find that interesting.
It is to me. It's kind of scary. I mean, anytime people talk diet for losing weight, I always get concerned because then you could be introducing things that are not what I consider normal food.
Well, again, it doesn't want you to eat fat because it wants your body to think there's a starvation situation. It wants your body to say, oh my gosh, there's something growing and I must get the nutrition for this.
Right.
And so you can't even use body oil or coconut oil. You have to use like maybe an aloe or something. So you do experience a little bit of dry skin. My suggestion, and I had an email from Sandy S. out there. I hope you got my email back, Sandy. And we will talk more about women and weight loss. And it really comes down to I eat a very high fat, medium protein, low carb diet. And I mean, this is working for me. And I don't have the cravings. Cutting out the wheat. If there's one thing I can tell people to do to cut their cravings and to be successful with weight loss, is to cut out
the key for
the refined grains and the wheat.
When I'm not hungry, I feel really good.
I don't have hunger controlling my mind with this kind of diet.
All day long, I can go and I can eat or not eat, and I'm still not hungry. And when I do eat, it's fantastic because the food is so flavorful.
And I think that you get a much a younger look as you lose the weight. Your skin stays toned.
I think so too.
I think so. So do your own research on the HCG diet. I'm sad to say that, the results are very attractive and you feel really good, but I have personally done it twice, once with the injectable and once with the homeopathic. And for me, I put on more weight. I kept it off for a little bit, but I was also still eating my grains. Maybe if I had stayed more primal.
It's a tool you can certainly use.
If you were to do it, I would suggest.
Yeah, if you're really heavy or you want to get down to a certain weight and you want to use some of these tools, you have to make those decisions for yourself.
But keep in mind, a lot of these physicians and so forth this is creating
an
annuity.
Maker.
Yeah, they know it eventually comes back because most people don't stay, off of the grains, reset their fat thermostats and so forth. So just remember that it can create an annuity situation where you're coming back in.
Yeah, there's people who say to me all the time, I'm not giving up this, I'm not giving up that. And, that's a decision you have to make. Yeah. Personally, if you give it up for a while, you don't miss it. And so why even go back? I put that little fence around those foods, and I just don't even think about it anymore. Like I said.
I'm having good luck with using some real natural, herbal, thermogenic type products.
Yeah. Well, that's your bag anyway.
Yeah.
That's your business. So.
Well, yes, exactly. The honest truth is I have access to a very high quality HCG. Very high quality FDA approved homeopathic. If someone really wanted to do it, I would encourage them to use a high quality one like the one that I have.
That just makes sense.
Sometimes it's a good jump start for people. Like you said, if they have a lot of weight loss, because all of a sudden they can see the change. Because sometimes, but ultimately I think the slower the weight.
I think if you're young, it's less of a risk than if you're in your 60s or 70s and want to do something like this. The risk probably is a lot greater, I would think.
Yeah. I think everybody has to look at that research, though.
Yep. So another thing I wanted to talk about was superfoods. Okay, because we talk a lot about superfoods, and there's an article here that says superfoods. A lot of them destroy inflammation. They are good for you in so many ways.
But the superfoods you're going to talk about are ones that some people would say, those are superfoods?
Yeah, well, that's true.
Like coffee.
Like coffee. Like chocolate.
Well, Dr. Ray Peat says that 90% of Americans get their antioxidants for the day in their Starbucks. They're saying that really the reality is
Yeah.
Now, we maybe
I think
don't.
so. I think coffee is great. I mean, I invested in a real good espresso machine, and we're even thinking about buying another one now, so we can take this one when we on the road and stuff like that. Because I do enjoy my coffee, and I only have it twice a day. I have it in the morning.
It's not the same thing as drinking 16 ounces 3 times a day.
And then I have one in the afternoon, maybe about 3 or 4 o'clock, and it gives me a little bit of lift. It's really good for my brain power. It gets me doing other things, but it's very satisfying too. I'm not going to get
But it's
hungry.
not Maxwell House coffee.
No, it's not Maxwell.
No.
It's the best coffee I can get. It's the espresso, real dark roast, and also I put, of course, my butter and the MCT oil and sometimes coconut oil in it. So I have my fat that's included.
Or
in
your
it.
collagen.
My collagen. Yes. I haven't used. I use my
Low roasted too. You know.
I use my collagen in my protein drink.
Okay.
So, but you know, either way.
Any place you can throw it in.
So there are also anti-inflammatories. This is one of the big things. So coffee
Well, really,
is one.
superfoods are any foods that can be anti-inflammatory in the body, and that's really what we want to go to.
Yeah.
Is
So we got
reducing
coffee,
the inflammation in our bodies.
We have butter, grass-fed, of course.
Grass-fed butter.
And there's, you know, if you're allergic to normal butter, you might want to try butter from another animal, like a goat. A little more hardy, but I like it myself.
Most of the time when people say, and I know Ellen, your wife, has this situation, but most of the time what we have learned is when people say they have a problem with dairy, it's not they have a problem with it. It's nothing wrong with the dairy. It's a problem with their digestion.
Yes.
And over time,
That's right.
they will be able to reintroduce these grass-fed, high butyrate.
Yeah. So
butters.
we also have the chocolate, of course, like we said, but we also have vanilla, and vanilla extracts. So those are the same.
Very good. I liked that article. That was good.
Yeah, and there was, I think, there was another part of it here. Let me open that, because I forget what it says. Yeah, I guess not.
Well,
there are, of course, raw milk is another one.
yeah, and this would be a surprise to a lot of people that, you know, or that think certain.
It's
what
not
was
wheat
concerned
jam,
me,
let's put it that
you know,
way.
I mean, I also have a leaning towards some really neat foods, but it mentioned goji berries, which I know from my Qigong instructor that goji berries, some of the longest lived people lived on goji berries. They're very high in antioxidants. They're high in the zeaxanthins and the orange. You can put them in a blender and make goji milk, you know.
Well, one interesting thing now, our producer is saying that chocolate can cause heartburn and coffee can cause heartburn that he's found. But I usually indicate that there's another problem that's causing that, and the chocolate or the coffee is just maybe accelerating that a little bit. It's usually if you're eating grains and things like that, your stomach is in a situation that's
damaged mode.
It's a damaged mode, so it's not going to accept these things as well because they are a little more acidy, perhaps. You know, so
acid producing. Well, also chocolate is really critical. You know, it has to be the right kinds of chocolate. It has to be 70% cacao. You know, the real chocolate, the real antioxidant-rich part of the chocolate. I mean, see, even a lot of these, you can go in the health food store and see a wall of chocolate candy bars, and many of them, you know, have a lot of fillers and cocoa butter and sugar. And
believe me, if you just eliminate grains completely and beans from your diet for 2 weeks and then drink some coffee or have some chocolate, you probably will not have that problem.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. In fact, if there was one thing someone asked me, what can you do to make a diet and lose weight, is to, you know, get rid of the grains,
always
get rid of the wheat,
things.
get rid of the gluten.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
We're at a break, so please pick up on a Health Signals newsletter while we're out for the break. And you can still give us a call at 877-927-6648. And we'll be back in a moment.
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time.
Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to the show. This is Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648. You know, Paige, one thing I always wonder about, I don't know how you women do it because, I don't wear any makeup, even on the show.
I know.
And, getting ready in the morning for me is like 1, 2, 3.
You guys just have it so easy. I mean, your hair stays in place, everything.
I never want to change that either. And I use a lot of natural products, though. When I'm in the bathroom, and deodorant for me is a little salt stick. Mm-hmm. And one thing that my wife says, well, it doesn't really stop, for you from sweating.
But that's the whole point. We don't
exactly.
I mean, sweating. We have a purpose in sweating.
Yeah,
sweating is to detoxify our body.
Yeah, what it does, it kills the germs, and so when you're sweating, it doesn't smell foul.
Exactly. So let's think about it, though. Why do we smell bad? Well, this is a huge lymph channel here, going to a major duct in the lymph system. Right.
So it's removing toxins from your body.
Removing toxins from the body.
And we want that.
And we want that. And then yet here we are
trying to stop it up.
Applying aluminum-based...
aluminum oxide, right?
Aluminum oxide to stop wetness. And what we've heard is that in all kinds of cancers or other diseases, i.e. the brain, we're finding aluminum.
Well, our body has a very big problem processing aluminum.
Absolutely.
Lots of minerals are processed by our body very well. Aluminum is not one of those things.
Exactly.
And magnesium is another one. So all these real light metals, heavy metals are easy. Actually, I guess it's the middle ones, the real heavy ones, are radioactive.
But that's the whole point. I want us to start thinking we should view our cosmetics or anything that we put on our skin, we should be willing to stick our tongue on and eat it. Okay. Take a bite out of it or something. Yeah. And if you can think like that, I think you'll find that you'll start to realize what's the worst thing if you're sweating a little bit? I mean,
I'm sweating right now. It's a natural thing.
It's a natural thing.
The reason I brought this up, I saw this blog, and it says, this will blow your mind. A lime is all you need for natural deodorant.
And that's great.
I never even thought of a lime.
Well, again, it's a food, and as an aromatherapist, the citruses are very powerful antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory.
And, of course, society gets used to so many things. I mean, I'm sure 200 years ago, nobody was using deodorant. People in Europe
I just heard that story that Napoleon used to tell Josephine, "I'll be back in a week," or I'll be back in a week. Don't bathe.
Oh boy, yeah. So it's hard for me to get used to that. But we do get used to certain things, and
I think we have to have a shift, though, that we don't view sweating as a negative thing necessarily. I mean, it's a process that we're doing.
But there's a lot of things we put on our bodies, especially you ladies. I mean, you're always smearing creams on there and
I just smear.
Makeups and
I use all natural oils.
Yeah.
I mean, very easy. I mean, I actually have something that I make that is kind of interesting. That's like an oil, an aloe oil that I use. I call it a healthy breast balm because there's evidence-based research of the power of the citrus fruits. Think about a lemon or a lime when you cut it in half. What does it look like?
Yeah, it does look like a breast.
It looks like a mammary, okay? It really does. So the power, and there's evidence-based research. You can look it up. So, real easy just to kind of use that as, and you're getting that scent. Yeah. So essential oils are absolutely wonderful for natural deodorants. And because they actually are antibacterial. It's not just the scent.
Okay.
And, so really for skincare and these kind of things, let's look to, your coconut oil, your olive oil, your natural jojoba oils, which is actually a wax, add a little essential oils. You don't need to spend money. Don't give your money to all these companies that are making chemical-laden products that are actually creating a toxic burden for your body.
I really think that hygiene is important, and I love the fact that women shave and, their underarms and their legs. I mean, that's very sensual to me, too. So I'm not saying give that up. I'm saying, get some alternatives to what these products that are in the grocery store. Your deodorant.
And then spend your money on good food.
Exactly. And good food, too. And have a nice weekend, too. This is the end of the show, folks. So we'll be back next week. And then I'm gone for a couple weeks. So, Paige, you're going to be on your own, sweetie.
Oh, kind of nervous.
You
guys will pull me through, okay?
Oh, yeah. These people will really help. Thanks a lot, folks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.